Service tickets are the only thing that are it's a little bit complicated because of the different scenarios, and I'm going to try to list all of the scenarios out in this video. So if one of these things don't apply to you, then just ignore it and go to the one that does. Again, I'm not trying to teach you how to create service tickets in this video. I'm more trying to show you how to enter the service tickets to deal with a conversion process where we're trying to hook up the items to inbound orders that are currently out there. So the first scenario is that we do not do a conversion for you. You're basically doing your inventory on your own, and you're accounting for everything as it is right now. So in this process, there are a couple things. One, we've gone in and manually put in all of our accounts payables so that the system knows all of the parts that are currently out for order right now. Now, the problem is that most of those parts are probably supposed to be going to service tickets and special order customers, but the system doesn't know that yet. So in this step, we're going to be handling the service. The next step will show you how to do the part sales or the over-the-counter sales, but note that you can do both of these at the same time, because generally the service guys are different than the parts guys. So you can actually have the parts guys doing their part and the service guys doing their part at the same time. So with no further ado, we're going to go in, we're in invoicing service tickets, and we're going to create a new service ticket. We're going to select the customer that we want to do the service ticket for. So I'm just going to type somebody in here and select them. We are going to add the unit that is on the service ticket. So I'm just going to go in here and select the unit. And in this case, this customer had been in before, so I'm just going to pick it. But normally you'll go in and add the unit through whatever means you have to. And now I want to add items to the ticket. Now I'm going to add items to the particular job. So I'm going to select the plus sign here to add those items to this particular job. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to add a job first. So at this point, I'm adding a job to the unit. So we're just going to come in and say that this particular job was tune-up, and we're basically going to duplicate all of the information from what they wanted done on the original service ticket. We're going to duplicate it here so that we have all the information here. And we're going to, if we have filled out any of this other information on the other service ticket, we're going to go ahead and put those in as well. And keep in mind, we're doing this for every open service ticket we have. So if the customer, even if we've completed it, if the customer hasn't come to pick it up, we need to put it in the system. So it gives us a little bit of practice on how to create service tickets while we're doing this. Now I have the unit, I have the job, and now I'm going to add the parts to the job. So I'm not going to add it to the invoice. I'm going to add it to this particular job. I'm going to hit the plus sign. I'm going to type in a part. Now I'm going to start with a part that I do not have in stock. So we're just going to find one of these that I don't have in stock, and you notice that this has no inventory information down here. I'm going to put in the price that we charge for the customer on this particular service ticket, and we're going to tell it to add it. So at this point, we now have some parts added to that particular ticket. Now there's one of two things that are going to come up here. Number one, this part really is special ordered, and it needs to be tied to one of the POs that we created in an earlier step. If that is the case, I do nothing at this point. I leave the part yellow. I don't do a single thing. The other scenario is that the part is already here. It was ordered, but it came in already, and it is on the service ticket already and delivered to the mechanic. So I need to basically adjust my inventory to account for the fact that that part is currently in stock now. So to do that, I'm just going to select this red button. I'm going to tell it how many of these things I have. So right now, the system thinks that I've got none of these in stock. So we're going to order one of these. We're going to adjust one of these, and Lizzy will automatically do all your GL adjustments and take care of adding that part to inventory and associating it with this this invoice or service ticket. Now, remember, in the first step, it had tied it to a PO. When I click the red button, it actually will remove that item from the PO or remove the link to the PO, and then do all the GL adjustments and stuff to take care of everything. Now, the final adjustment or the final scenario, and this is a little bit complicated, so I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. The final scenario is that we have already done inventory before we get to doing the service tickets. And this might be a scenario where we did a conversion for you and we imported all your inventory in. Maybe you closed for a couple days, you've already done the inventory, and now you're trying to put your service tickets in. But in any case, the inventory is already in the system when I go to put this part on the ticket. This is where things get a little confusing, but once you figure it out, it's the same for all of them. But the question is how your earlier business system dealt with that inventory situation. So as an example, if your earlier system reduced the inventory, and this only comes into play if we're converting, if the earlier system reduced the current inventory value by the amount that went to the service ticket at the moment it went to the service ticket, then we want to be careful about putting the part on the service ticket and hitting the green button to tell the system that it is now on the service ticket, because you're going to be adjusting your inventory a second time when you hit that green button. Now, in that scenario, what will happen is you'll have a red button, a green button, and what the buttons I'm talking about are down here on this part. You'll have a red button, the green button to say that I have it, and you'll have another little orange button that will tell the system that I do have it. I want you to allocate for it, but I do not want you to adjust inventory for it, because the numbers that I currently have in inventory are already adjusted out. Have already taken into account the fact that that part is out of stock or out of my inventory. And what happens with that orange button is Lizzy will actually add one more to your inventory on the GL and then allocate it back to this service ticket, so that your current inventory value is still correct, but your books are also correct because it puts the part in and takes it right back out. That's the only scenario that gets a little tricky, is when you've either converted your inventory or you've already done your inventory and the parts have been associated already. Where you've already done your inventory, you may have to also click the orange button if the part is no longer in the bin. So you went and counted the inventory in the bin and there were 5 there, but there's really 6 on the books. The other one just happens to be sitting over in the service department. So in that scenario, you also want to click the green button or the orange button, because you want Lizzy to add one more to add 6 and then allocate the other one over to a service ticket. So if you get confused about the service tickets, feel free to give us a call and talk to us about it. But it is a little bit tricky at the beginning, because you need to make sure that you understand what your old business system was doing before you actually go clicking things inside of Lizzy, because the goal here is that your inventory is exactly correct and your orders are matched up to the proper service tickets when you're done.